freaked out very, very badly. Freaked out on acid. I live for...
So I'm doing a little Q&A for Reddit. Still working on that AMA thing. It's still going on, which is very cool. Guy named mertzandreas asked a question about my first trip, and if I remember my first trip. I'll put his name down here, or her name, whatever, if I mispronounced it. Yeah. So, I do, kind of, sort of. That was like 30 years ago, so it's, a little foggy, but the first one was interesting because I don't think I really tripped, because what the story is that I was, 14, and I was another buddy of mine, he was 14 too, his name, well, we'll just call him Jeremy, to save, privacy and whatever. We're staying at gonna stay the night at this guy's house named older guy. He's like 17 or 18. Went by the name of Jason, and we'll just use that name just to protect privacy. And yeah, he was like kind of like a long hair like metal guy, but he was like 17, 18, right? Where me and the other guy were only 14, so not quite sure exactly why this dude's hanging out with 14-year-olds, but at the time didn't really think anything of it. He just like hung out with younger people like that. I think he was just like not cool, like in his own crowd, because he was like a heavy metal stoner dude. But I think maybe he just was like ostracized or had really bad social etiquette or something. I don't know what. I'm not even. Who knows, right? Anyway. But yeah, we decided to get some acid, and I think he was the only dude that knew how to get it, because we were 14. We were like I was in like 7th grade, and then my buddy was like in 8th grade, and yeah, we went over to this guy's house, like, had the fake parents call and shit like that. Whatever. And like, we stayed there, and like, that was like, we were psyched. I was like, do acid, because, I'd just been hearing like, everybody's trips, trip reports and stuff, and sounded fucking awesome, and so like, I was really excited to do it. My buddy was too, and this other guy, Jason, was the older dude, and we did it, and I remember feeling a little bit different, but I don't remember anything, like nothing jumped out at me. And but we had also smoked a little weed, I think, and we were drinking beer. We had like scored like some fucking Bud Light or something like that. And that was in itself at 14 was pretty novel. I mean, that was like, we were already like fucking, I don't know, proud of ourselves for scoring beer and weed and LSD. Well, anyway, so we did it, and I didn't know it at the time, but I know now in hindsight, the dude basically cut our hits like in half or a third and took the rest for himself. And he gave me and my friend like, no more than half a hit. I remember the size of it. And I remember, a few years later thinking to myself, like, I got ripped off. Like, but yeah, so it wasn't that memorable. I remember we took it and like we walked around the neighborhood, and he lived like in the fucking Bronx, man. Not the Bronx, but he lived in like a bad part of like South Phoenix. It was not somewhere where you'd want like, 3 white people, especially young, tripping on acid, be walking around. But we did, and nobody bothered us. But maybe just because we were fucking fucked up looking, but who knows? But yeah, I mean, I remember walking around, and the only way that I really knew it was acid, and again, I didn't have anything to compare it to, be my first time, but in hindsight, was that I remember like, because of the drinking, like, under the influence of LSD or even shrooms, whatever, I remember that I could drink, and even to this day, although I don't typically drink anymore on it just because doesn't do anything, but I know that I could drink a lot of alcohol before it basically counteracted the effects of alcohol. And I remember that when I was 14, I remember having drank before being like fucking drunk off of like 2 beers. And I remember like looking at my beers and how many I drank, and I was like up to like 7, and that was like unheard of. Like anything more than like 2, I would be like throwing up in the bathroom, right? But I was like at 7, I just didn't feel the effects of alcohol, which gives me the impression that it was actually real. But and I did remember seeing some like slight tracers and stuff, but nothing that surprised me. Which the very next time I tripped, like a year later when I was like 15, I remember we bought some different guys, different group of people, but I bought some with somebody in high school, and I thought I'd already tripped. I thought I experienced what LSD was, and it probably was, but I probably just experienced like a third of a hit or even a half. I doubt even a half, to tell you the truth. So I thought to myself, okay, well, this is weak, right? That's what I thought a hit was. So I'm like, give me 2. Okay, so this is the time I really think of, like, actually when I first tripped. And unfortunately, I don't remember a lot about that day. I remember taking it in school. But towards the end of school, like towards the end of like the school day, like my last period, like 6th period or 7th period, whatever it was. And I remember fucking tripping balls by the time I was on the bus, on the school bus. I remember like, wow. And I was like, wow. Like, and it was cool. And I remember like hanging out with the guy. Luckily, he was with me too. And we just tripped balls and went swimming in my house. We had a pool in the backyard at that point. And it was the coolest fucking thing. I mean, it was a little intense at first, but I was sober. I wasn't drinking alcohol and I wasn't stoned. So it was just the effects of the LSD, and that was fucking awesome. And that was the time when we went swimming. It was just fucking cool. It was just like we were swimming. We had a ladder to get on the top of my roof, and I know that sounds stupid, but yeah, we would on the top of the roof. You could jump from the top of the roof and land into the pool. We did that. We took a bunch of pictures and shit. It was fucking a blast. It was fucking awesome. That was the first time I considered tripping, but yeah. So it was kind of funny because I thought I had to double my dose. So yeah, that's basically it. As far as the details go, for the time I took the 2, the first time I really tripped, honestly, that's all I really remember is the swimming pool. I don't remember much more. I remember having a good time though, but that was about it.